Okay, it's Saturday morning. Just says Wednesday, it's not. That's when I took the notes. These people, this is a list of the yes voters on exposing our banking and or our identity documents to overseas and third-party foreigners online. And I'll show you why in and these people, these three females, need to be reported to the A.F.P for anti-white apartheid and anti-white genocide against our people. Those three women, females, are against the Commonwealth. And there's quite a few more of them, but those three stood out this week in these last few videos online. I'm just going to show you my screen, which is to my right, but I'm going to have to whiz you over there. I'm just going to show you this page here. This is the guy here. That's the video you need to look up that talks about this stuff. Yeah? So this is where the information is from. You can go and watch it and listen to him. He will tell you that these names, all of these names need to be, well, he won't tell you that, but he's said all of these names in his thing of who voted yes to exposing our identity documents to foreigners, to overseas companies, corporations, businesses that are outside of the Commonwealth. So we have to it's going to be either banking or our explicit identity documents. Now, if it's to put the banking, that's to tie us into the beast system. I'm going to be flat straight out about it. Okay? And if we put identity documents, it's very much the same thing, because having images of ourselves is against one of the 10 commandments. And I might show you that in just a moment. I just have to go around. Oh no, my scriptures are right here. So let me show you that before I forget, and then I'll get back onto track. So if I open my scriptures, it's very easy to find. All I do is I move into here. These are the scriptures I showed you the other day. This is, so Exodus, and this is the thing we're looking at all the time. This is really submerging us into this. I've got to get to the page. Just there we go. Right, so here are the 10 commandments. Okay. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And here's another one, number 2. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Well, I guess I'm doing that on this video because I'm showing you something that's in the earth, aren't I? But how far do we take it? Can we use this? Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So that is Exodus 20, verse 4, 5, and 6. It's really very, very clear, isn't it? And they want you, they gave you the guise of identity in those licenses and birth certificates, and actually not the birth certificate because that's written, what's that thing, passport, sorry, so they want you to share those. All of these people want you to share those, all of these names, look them all up. All the people you think represent you. Mackenzie, look, Askew, Chandler, Henderson, McGrath, Ruston, Smith, Dean, Price, Jacinta, Mackenzie, Ayres, Gallagher, Polly, Stirl, Watt, Birmingham, Durniam, Hume, O'Sullivan, Scar, Cash, Fawcett, Covered, Kick, Patterson, Sharma, Chicone, McAllister, Gosh, Pratt, Urquhart, Dermanin, Green, O'Neill, Sheldon, Walsh. All those people from right up here and all of these, they all need to be reported to the A.F.P. because this is a security risk on our people, all of our people. Anyone who has to put their names, not just their name, we've already got our names, but anyone who has to put banking or identity documents for someone under 16 is not protecting children, it's exposing children. It's the total opposite. Everything in this system that's going on is inversion of what should be happening. Total inversion. Okay, parents have the obligation to be honest and to do the right thing and to not put their children online. Did you hear that? Parents have the obligation to protection and to not put their children online. There is an age limit, for example, on Facebook. Now, I'll tell you something. Facebook had a limit of 13 years old, and some parents allowed their children to lie about their age and put them on the Facebook before they were 13. That is on the head of the parents. And then they wonder why their children go ahead and lie and do all these things. I can think of at least one example in my immediate contacts that I have had have done this. And then they wonder why their children go about doing all these irresponsible things. Well, you've told your child that it's okay to lie about their age online to get online. Why would you want your children exposed online to start with? You might have set it as private, but that does not make it not shared. It's still shared. But this, putting our banking details or our identity documents directly online over to a third party of foreigners who could then be exposed in any way, shape or form, this is completely inappropriate. Our identity documents should be in physical form, in our hand, or in like our binder, or wherever we keep them safe. They should not be online at all. At all. At all. At all. No. Okay, so over here, some people who should probably be praised, except for the fact that all of these and all of the other list are still in a foreign occupancy, not disclosing such a thing to our people, not telling them, not telling you, or us, or none of us. They're not telling us that they are a foreign administrative occupancy over the Commonwealth. They are literally not the Commonwealth. They're paid by the IMF. They're paid by a foreign entity. AUD is foreign entity. It's their script they're using over us while they're in administration. When that crashes, they will tie us into something the IMF has devised. Let that sink in, please. Just let that sink in. Here's the list. Now, these are my other notes, but we won't go into that. So, all the ones that didn't vote in that book: Almond Payne, Hanson Young, Pocock Barbara, Waters, Payman, she's a anti-white, Lambie, Antic Alex, Roberts, Canavan, Babette, Cox, Hodgins Mary, Shoebridge, Wish Wilson, Rennick, Faruqi, McKim, Steeler John, and Tyrell. All those people. So all these people on here, underneath, these all There's no more. These all said no to what I said about to this thing. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm allowed to copy their video, but this is the guy. I'll see if I can. Just let me see if I can grab him up. Go click him. Here's my channel. Anyway, okay, so let's click on him.
This AI tool will create a stunning ebook direct from your content, whether it's a Microsoft Word document or a Google document.
Get lost.
Bits and pieces and things they wanted to say and talk to. And then they had a vote at lunchtime to rearrangement of business.
See where he has
where Senator Wong, I think that's what we just saw, where she said we're going to move these things around, we're going to put the social media thing at the end, we're going to give an hour to vote on, blah, 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 blah. And then they came back and then they started talking about the bills in the afternoon. And you can see government bill, bill passed with amendments, government bill passed without amendments, government bill without amendments, government bills passed.
See, this is the manner in which things were passed
government
through.
Bill passed, one with amendments. And so bang, bang,
Go
bang,
back
bang.
here.
Here's all these Treasury law amendments, capital works.
He's talking about how quickly they put it through.
Bill, crimes amendment bill.
No conversation about it.
Amendment bill. Future Made in Australia bills.
Let's press this one. I'll show you when he has the list.
Straight away. And here are the coalition senators that voted yes. Askew, Birmingham, Cash, who's
there's all the people
Dunham,
he listed.
Forsyth, Henderson, Hugh, very disappointing. Labour, we knew it was their bill, they were going to vote for it. They voted for it through. And here are the ones that voted no. The Greens, of all people, voted no against the bill.
See? So you can watch this video.
You've got the independents.
Go back, have a look through it.
Rennick and Tyrrell all
Under
voted
16
against it.
social media ban passes in travesty of democratic process.
Antic.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that for you to listen to that. I just did that for you to see that these people, not those ones, the ones beforehand, they literally need to be reported basically to the A.F.P. That's what you should be doing. Every single one of us should be putting these names here. All of these names. All these ones. There's the birth date. Anti-white, apartheid and genocide. These are crimes that should be reported to the A.F.P. These are crimes as a result of the Brereton report. You can look up Locust and Honey channel. He's got a new video on. I think it was yesterday or so. Yeah, when they redact their documents, guess what? They can block out almost the whole document. That they're just self-protecting. They know that they're in the wrong. They know they are breaking the law. And it's to us to find all of the evidence that we can find and put it to those claims. And then, once you've done this with the A.F.P, with all these names, we should also be taking them to court with a list of when they did these things. Here's one of those things, a list of what they've done. They are putting into a statute that our children's banking details or outright identity documents are going to be given to places like for example, Facebook and these sorts of things, social net, what are they called? That social thing. Yeah, so what did he say? Social media, yeah. So this is another issue that we saw in the video earlier about when, anyway, those two, the second two, were in a debate with Pauline Hanson about, not a debate even, it was just, they were just outright slandering her. And Faruqi taking her to court. But it's okay for them to say white privilege. Well, why isn't someone taking Faruqi to court for talking about white privilege in the way that she did, pointing it out to all of the parliamentarians? Why aren't people actioning anti-whiteism? Because anti-whiteism is the worst form, because it's almost always accepted, and it should not be accepted. It's anti-white apartheid. Any race above any other race is apartheid. Every time they say we acknowledge Aboriginals, apartheid. Every time they change a name of something like the Yarra River, Birrarung, they made it called Birrarung, that's genocide of our places. Okay? We named our places after honourable people. They're just making up words that don't even come from this area. This is our area of nativity, and they don't even come from here, and they're changing it. That's genocide. Even the white people, Western kind, who are doing the changes on their behalf are committing apartheid, apartheid and genocide against us, the Commonwealth. We are under the blessing of Almighty God. We have a responsibility. We should be doing this. And do you think I'm going to do this? Why do you think I looked up the birth dates? Because I'm going to pick out each one. She hasn't got her birth date because she knows damn well if we find her, she's a foreigner, she can be deported. She is a foreigner in the administration. Okay? She does not have her details online. The other ones do. These two do. Faruqi's a foreigner too. She shouldn't be in a parliament. And Thorpe is not an Aboriginal, she's Scottish. Okay, she's one of our own, undermining our Commonwealth and saying this is a war. You can see that on Locusts and Honey. Go back and look at the videos. If you haven't already, start doing now. Yes, voters on exposing our banking and or identity documents. Ours as well. It's our children, but it's also us. Every one of us. Whereas before we could just put anything, not anything, but like Facebook checked my identification and they will not change it back. They will not change it to anything that I want it changed to because they claimed that I provided identity documents. I didn't provide identity documents. I made a statement that this is my name and this is my detail. And that's why they won't change it, right? I've tried to change it to a more casual thing, but I've stuck with my name on Facebook. So do you understand? Now you can sign into Facebook and put any old name. You can put nonsense. You can put anything. And I don't very often communicate with those ones because they're not forthright. Now, we don't have to put our banking details and all of these things. And the reason we don't have to do that is because they're offering a service and they're actually, when you get a free service, like when I choose to pay something, I put my banking details in. I mean, that's part of what we do, right? If it's online and you know, it's foreign or something, yeah, we put it in by our own choice. Okay, but just to be using it and be online and connect with other people, do we need our banking details or should we now be paying? Maybe we should be, I don't know. Should we now be paying for social media? Like I pay for Telegram, for example. I'm not under white positive and I'm not under my name because I got totally targeted by some Nazi larpers in Telegram. They were absolutely vitriolic and nasty to their own people. It's disgusting, really. I mean, they say, oh, they stand up for white people, but actually what they do is they denigrate white people, but they go around posing as Nazis, which I'm not going to say one way or the other, good or bad. Like, I'm proud of them for wanting to be racially pure. I want to be racially pure too. I am, in fact, racially pure, so there's no question there. But we don't want to be genocided. We don't want to be genocided. But if we're going to claim to be nice to our own people, we have to actually stand with our own people, not put them down, not put each other down like that. And then there's this, you know, people voting to have our details online. whether we like it or not. It's another step towards full online participation with no way out. Oh my God, you can see my writing backwards underneath the paper. Oh well. Yeah, so wherever you see apartheid and genocide and any of these security threats, they need to be reported to the A.F.P. So whoever sees this now, you've got all the evidence of these people. I've shown you the video where it was found. You can go through there and you can then find all the background on it. You've got the evidence. Okay? So if you don't start reporting, and I'm going to have to now report because I've published it, I've got the information. But these are criminals, all these people. These ones, they're sort of halfway. They haven't done this particular crime, but they are complicit in not telling you that they are an administration to this country. And look at them all. There's a huge number of people active in the parliament. Has any of those told you they're an administrator for a foreign entity? Has anyone told you that? Anywhere? Have you looked it up? Have you been doing your due diligence for your own country and your own people? Like, I don't mean to be rude and forthright, but have you done anything about this? This Jacinta Price has got a huge following, and yet she voted to expose our banking and identity documents of us and our children online by force, by statute. They can then, if you don't do it by the time they said, and it's a really broad, open slather document, this act. If you don't do it, it's a criminal act. Whether it's a statute, what's it called, summary or indictable, I don't know because I haven't read the act. So you have to go back and look at that act that he's talking about. Yeah, it's a social media ban or something. Go and find out. You've got the evidence. You've seen Maureen Faruqi, Lydia Thorpe and Fatima Payman on the news. Did you take a recording or get down the details? And did you go to the A.F.P website? Put yourself out there. Get this information. Get them into the courts. Do it. I can't do it all. Stephen can't do it all. Although he's gonna do a lot. In fact, he's probably already done a lot. Get the evidence. Gather this evidence. Drop it in where it needs to go. It's really that simple. I've shown you the video where it came from. Look it up yourself. If you don't believe me, go back, watch that video, look up the act, and look up those, the parliamentary, I've forgotten what it's called, the parliamentary notes, there's a thing where they record everything to the parliament, the Hansard. Go look up the Hansard. Go and do it, because if we don't do it, we are going to be crushed into the financial, prison, really, of being online and with all of our details online, all over the place. A.F.P, do it. Yeah? Anyway, it's my little bugbear that people are sort of like, oh my gosh, they don't. Well, why aren't you reporting them? Why aren't you reporting this and then taking them to court? Take the one to court in your area if you have to. Where's your area? Kikone? We should start saying all our stuff in plain English instead of playing to all their games. Cover kick. We don't say ch. That's not in English. Don't let people white erase our language either. That's genocide of a people's language. You see? Come in here and tell us how to speak our own language. If you don't like it, do it in your own language. Go home, do it in your own language, in your own country where your own people are. That's simple. Okay, if you come into our courts and you can't speak English, you need a translator. Don't fuck about in our courts. Not you, but you. You know what I mean, right? It's like this. It's just so, it's getting to a point where I just don't know if people are just, I don't know if they're just plain stupid or actually complicit. It's hard to know, isn't it, really? If you're not getting this information out there and sharing it and giving to each other and doing something about it, you're pretty much complicit. Do you not understand that? Do you not understand that? So I really want that to sink in today and any other day. If you're not doing something about these people, they're going to keep doing it. And it's going to be that they're complicit, that you're complicit with them. That's how it goes, right? You've been given evidence, especially these three. You've been given evidence. Go and look them up. See what they've been up to recently. I'm not going to go through all the videos and just show you all of them. These are recent videos in which these people put down white people in the parliament and nobody kicked them out. Nobody said anything. She got 1 day for throwing a piece of paper. She didn't get 1 day for being an anti-white, nasty, war-mongering criminal. She got kicked out for 1 day for ripping up and throwing papers at Pauline Hanson. But this one, being a foreigner, shouldn't even be here. She thinks it's okay to put out anti-white slurs in the parliament and all over the place and then take it to court and defame someone for saying they're scared they're going to be inundated with Asians. And if you take a look around Melbourne, people who come from, say, Queensland, where it's much more Western kind up there still, and they come down here. I've walked around with people from Queensland and whatever, and they've come down and they've been walking through the city with me and said, "Are we in Chinatown?" And I've said, "Well, no, Chinatown's up the top end." And to look around, almost every shop has non-English, signage, and they're majority Asian run, Asian product, almost everything Asian. We have been inundated by Asians. So what Pauline Hanson said was not discriminatory. It was a genuine concern for our people being inundated and white erased in our own Commonwealth country. We are Western kind. We are a Commonwealth and we are Western kind, and we have a right to our race, our people, our religions, our values, our standards. People who come here should be speaking English reasonably, not unable to communicate with us. That's not how things are supposed to be. Okay? I just, should I show you one more thing? Let me see. Let me just see if I can find a blank of that. So I got this offline. This is what Stephen also has on his paper. I just want to show you this while I'm here. This is the thing. I don't know what court to put it in under, but I've blanked out all the information because I don't write in boxes. So I've blanked out all the information and left all the essential stuff. And when I wrote mine, I'm not going to put it online. I don't put my stuff online. But I got this off online. I got it for nothing. I didn't have to, sign in and get anything. And this is the form that Stephen used. I accidentally erased the date, but anyway, that's okay. So these need to be filled out and taken when you go into court. You need to make sure that you know what you're doing. Don't just follow, but you can do this. You can sort of make it how you need it. Find out the information. I took out the lines and things because I don't want it messy for me, but I couldn't get it to work online, so I can't type on it. I have to I handwrote mine, but that's okay. You handwrite whatever you need to do. I often do my documents in red, and they tell me you can't do it in red, and I said, well, every time I go to court I do them in red. Are you telling me I can't use the courts of my own country? And they just back off because they know. And I've used purple pencil before in the court, and the justice is surprised. He said, you use purple pencil? I said, that's right, purple pencil. And he's just so puzzled. It was really actually quite cute. But anyway, so these are reasonable men of our people. The women, I don't know much in terms of the women because I think they're probably as wise too, but their communication is a little bit different. But the men are fun. They're funny. There is a definite gender difference. Not that it's not intended. It's just how God made us. Almighty God made us different. And no, I love being in the courts now and again, but it is scary. It is scary for me because I've got the CPTSD already now. And let's see if I can find something interesting out of my readings. Let's have a look at, what's this? Yeah, Jacob's Law of Trusts in Australia. Let's have a look at this. It's only a few pages. I've got the reference. There's the publisher and Mark Leeming, Judge of Appeal, Supreme Court of New South Wales. Jacob's Law of Trusts Australia, 8th edition. This is how I ended up realising I could read Mark Leeming's materials. This is so well set out. It's really, really clear, very short. This is information about trust. So let's move into something a little bit more fun. This is the one, I don't know if I told you this story, but I was in the law library and I was trying to think, who's that man's book that I wanted to read, that really cool one? And it was Mark Leeming, but I had to look in the books and that's right, it's Mark Leeming. I found out from the books in the library. I just got up and looked around at the books and went, oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, that one. Mark Leeming, yes. And then the next morning I came in and this book was on the very spot where I usually sit in the library. It was hilarious. And I keep finding it. I found it out again yesterday. So someone is doing work in the law library about trust. I think it's the lawyers come in and use the book. So because it's their law library in the Supreme Court. And so, yeah. So this is a synopsis of the book and the reference. So that you can see, if you want to see it, just pause. Nature of the trust I'm interested in, and capacity to be a trustee is what I was interested in. So that's what I've got here. And here's the beautiful preface. It's such a lovely preface that they've written here. Just pause and have a look. Sorry it's not as focused as it could be. Oh, there we go. It's better. Yeah, so let's have a little look-see. There's the one by the Honourable Sir Kenneth Jacobs, KBE. And, so they wrote that about him. How sad, 2015. That's why someone else is doing the book, I suppose. Okay, so I just want to share a couple of lines out of this again, as I do. There's chapter 1. So let me just focus here. There you are. Beauty. Okay, a trust is an institution developed by equity and cognizable by a court of equity. A trust is not a juristic person with a legal personality distinct from that of the trustee and beneficiary. Nor is it merely descriptive of an equitable right or obligation. Instead, a trust is a relation between trustee and beneficiary in respect of certain property. More particularly, a trust exists when the owner of a legal or equitable interest in property is bound by an obligation recognised by and enforced in equity to hold that interest for the benefit of others or for some objective or purpose permitted by law. It's not a definition of a trust, but a description, which you can't do a definition. But here we are, here's the references. There's cases, there's that's a journal, Mark Leeming book for the bar review. There's quite a few. There's a book. No, that's a case. That looks like a case. Yeah, that's a case. That's New South Wales Law Reports. Might be Australian Law Reports. I don't know what that one's called. Okay, so that New South Wales Law Reports. Don't know what that one is. I don't know what that's called, but that's another location of where that one's found. So that's the name of it. Location. Two different ones. And 3, here we go. There's another case. There's the list of it, case and where it's listed. Yeah. So that saying is what I wanted to highlight. So when we are talking about the Commonwealth, that is how I say the state is the fiduciary of the people, because they have that equitable obligation. We talk about this. Locust and honey, Steve talks about it. It's not that he's just making up this stuff. This stuff is in law. This is who they are. The Commonwealth is a trust. Those people running the administration are administrators of a trust. Do you understand that? Do you get it? They administer. They don't own it. Right. Now, or I think, are they administrators or trustees? It depends which part of the government you're talking about. I think the court is the administrative arm. I don't know, judicial. They make decisions about things. Maybe they're the trustee. Anyway, Stephen might be able to say which one is which. I get very confused. I'm not going to show you the whole chapter, but that's, it's quite interesting. There's a bit about the trustee and there's a bit about the beneficiary. Thirdly, there must be a cestui trust or beneficiary. The trustee may be one of the beneficiaries, but cannot be the sole beneficiary. So say I couldn't set up a trust and then be the trustee and then also be the only beneficiary to the trust. It would be pointless. There would be no reason for me to represent. It might as well just be me by myself. Does it make sense? Because there's nothing to do. So if the trustee were the sole beneficiary, there would be no trust, because there would be no separate equitable interest vested in the beneficiary. There is a merger of any such possible interest in a legal or equitable interest to the beneficiary as trustee. So a trust may be created without communication to the beneficiary, although the beneficiary may disclaim on learning of the trust. And I've done that. I contacted a super and I said, I don't want this. And they cannot hold it when I've said that. And I've told my other trust, I had 2 supers. One, I contacted them, I claimed my disablement insurance, and there was no further benefit of it for me. So I withdrew under disability and closed it, because to leave a small amount was pointless and I needed the rest to restart. So I disclaimed and closed the account, and I received my closure letter. And for the other one, there was only about $300 in it, and they wrote me an email saying blah 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 about some information about it, and I wrote back and said, thank you, but I don't want this trust, I don't want this super, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want any information about it. I don't want to know about it. It's got nothing to do with me. It's your thing. The government put the money in there. You lost my money to start with. The government replaced the money and I don't want it. And they have to take our word because we have disclaimed it, right? I'm not suggesting you disclaim your super. What I'm saying is the beneficiary doesn't want it. It can be discarded. It can be given away. or given to the other parties or somehow done something else with it. Okay, and it's the same with banking, because when you hand it to them, they become the trustee to the money and they get to boss you around. They get to take a little chunk out. They get to put a little chunk in whenever they want. They can take it and invest it because you've given it to them. They can take it, they can invest it, they can skim a bit of that investment outcome off and give you a tiny little chunk. This is what happens in our bank account. That is what usury is. They invest it, and that's what they're doing over this Commonwealth of Australia, over our Commonwealth. Yeah, so there is no requirement that the beneficiary at the time of the creation of the trust be a person then in existence, for there may be a trust in favour of an unborn person. So some people don't understand. This trust was built before we were born. Further, it is not necessary that the beneficiaries enjoyed the complex of beneficial relations which may be called ownership. For example, they may have no present rights in possession. Likewise, there may be a valid trust in favour of a class of persons, the exact constitution of which is unknown at the time of the creation of the trust. In the case of public or charitable trusts, there will be no individuals as beneficiaries. There, the beneficiary must be regarded as the charitable purpose to which the trust property is devoted. So there has to be a trustee, property, and a beneficiary. Right. So I have now a charitable trust. At the moment, I don't have a trustee. I do. It's the courts and the state and all of this until I put the structure in place. Once the structure's in place, bang, it's dealt with, yeah? So I am the beneficiary. However, at the moment, I am a custodian until such a time as it's completely formed. When it becomes completely, see, a trust, I will show you the next bit. I'm explaining for you so you can understand where I am, what I'm sort of thinking. So here's chapter 14. They're really cool because they're very short, so I'm not earning from any of these videos. These are just videos of information I'm learning. I just want to show you the factual information so that you know where we are, yeah? So let me just any persons who are capable of at law of holding property in their own right may hold the office of a trustee. A person's capacity to be a trustee coincides with the capacity to hold a legal estate. Yeah, so even different things, the appointment still is valid, even if there's someone better or whatever. Infants can't. I don't think infants can be one. Aliens, corporations. Let me just find the bit. An aggregate or sole or a corporation may be a trustee. So that's how the Commonwealth can be. Or Australia can be a corporation and be the trustee of your CESDQ that was mentioned in the first chapter. Are you starting to see a picture here? There's a case about that. The capacity of corporations to act as trustees was stated by Lord Herdwick. LC, I'm not sure what that is. To be quite clear, as early as 1744. There it is, 1744. That's English reports. I don't know what MOD is, but ER's English reports. Okay, there was a piece in here that I wanted to... So a corporation in Victoria, Western Australia and Queensland, a corporation can now be appointed as co-trustee with an individual. So you can have a corporation and an individual running the same thing. And there's a way for them to do it. Now, I don't know, let me just, trustee companies, that's not what I wanted to look at. I've lost the page where it says, the Crown. So the Crown may be a trustee. See what I mean? They've used the Crown now after 73? I don't know, watch Locust and Honey, he's smarter than me. But the Crown cannot be compelled to accept a trust. Although the Crown cannot be compelled to accept a trust, the Crown may sustain the character of a trustee by accepting trust, and the Crown has undoubtedly the capacity to take the estate and execute the trust. So now you see why you go to court. A decision is being made. They've taken it already, and a decision is being made to execute whatever is supposed to be executed under that trust. Your job, my job, our own job, collectively our job, is to find out what this trust is, what's involved, how we agreed into it, and to do it. If you're the beneficiary, you need to say to them, are you trying to administer my trust without my consent, sir or miss? Oh, my housekeeping has arrived. So there's a few more things that I have to do, but my housekeeper has arrived. I'll find that other bit of information and I'll get it to you in the next video. I do apologise, but this happens sometimes.